Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan,
And I'm Josh.
and together we are
Goodboys.
We synced it. Nice.
So I guess we thought we'd chat you through today how we do our vocal chain. We haven't got any formal training on how to do vocals or a vocal chain, so this is things that we picked up over the years through watching over other producers' shoulders. The first things that we need to talk you through, which you can't see here, is how we get the vocals into the computer. So we record using
SM7,
SM7B.
which is important to know because the chain is largely made up and catered towards that microphone in particular because it's the one we use the most.
So if any of you out there have used the 7B, you'll know it's quite muffly and it doesn't have a lot of top end. So there's two problems with it. That's the first one. The second problem is the gain is really low on it as a mic. So there's something you can get called a cloud lifter, which the guys are going to put here. And that just increases the gain without making it sound terrible, basically. So we record SM7B into the cloud lifter into an Apollo Twin. And then in the Twin, all we're using is just a little bit of... actually, that's a complete lie. We've got a 500 series set up with 1073 preamp, some Neve EQ, and an API compressor. But you kind of don't really need any of that. You don't need any of that, really. Don't listen to what people say, because you can do it all in here. So the first thing that we do when we're recording a vocal is called comping. So if I open up this folder, I'm using Logic as my DAW, but it's very similar on other things. So I've got 5 different takes of the same recording, and I've gone through and I've chosen the best version of each line. So it sounds like I'm singing it perfectly. We get caught in the loop, we're stuck in the loop. But as it plays through, you can see that I'm actually using lots of different takes from different lines. And if I click on a different section, I'll just show you some different takes. Bit sharp. So now I've got my comp done. This is my lead vocal. You might think it doesn't sound very Goodboys-y, and that's because it doesn't. We always record 2 semitones higher than where the final track is going to be, and then we pitch it down using a plugin called Little Altar Boy. But before we get there, we need to have some auto-tune. So for this track, I am using, it's just opening up, Antares Auto-Tune Access. I actually have the full version now, but when we recorded this vocal, I only had the Access version. It only has 2 parameters that you can change, but in all honesty, it does the job. And if you're somebody who's starting out, or maybe you don't need to go that in depth, Auto-Tune Access is fine, and it's also about 1/3 of the price, I think, so I still use it. I record vocals without auto-tune and then add the auto-tune on afterwards, because if you record with tuning on, you just can't change it, whereas if you record it without and then add it on afterwards, you're in full control. So we've got our comped vocal, we've got our tuned vocal. Now we add Little Altar Boy. If I just show you on here, you've got 2 parameters which are controlling pitch and formant. Pitch is changing the pitch, and formant is essentially changing the throat length. So it's how you get this kind of... We get caught in the loop, we're stuck in the loop, we get caught in the loop, the loop, the loop. And that's kind of the secret behind the Goodboys sound. But unlike a lot of people who just use formant, for some reason we found that it sounds better to pitch it down and formant it down, which is a bit of, I don't know if I can say ball ache, but if not, bleep it out. It's a bit of a ball ache because it means everything we record, we have to record it 2 semitones higher, but it gives the result, the desired result.
And I think a lot of people do just format the vocal down and record it in the same key. But for us, we've found that there's a certain tone you get if you actually take the time, record it up, pitch it back down again. Just make sure the auto-tune is changing the key at the same time.
Yeah, so
'Cause
obviously
there's a lot of pain involved.
you have to put the auto tune in the key you recorded in, not the key it's playing back in, which can be a bit like mess with your head a bit. So, if like me, you don't really know what you're doing with processing vocals, this next plugin is for you. It's from Isotope, it's called Nectar, and they very generously gifted it to us, and I'm so glad they did because it's massively upped our game. So there's this button here which I'm circling called Vocal Assistant, and if you play your vocals back through it, it listens to what is being played, and through its genius brain it tells you all of the things that need to be added. So it's adding a gate, and the gate basically means that anything, as soon as the vocal volume drops below a certain level, it cuts out. So it's really useful for cutting out background noise, or if you're taking little breaths, it will cut those out. It's adding an EQ, which is basically taking out any troublesome frequencies. A de-esser, which does what it says on the tin, gets rid of your like S sounds or sibilant sounds. Silly sausages, sibilant sounds. A second EQ, which is kind of rolling off some of the low end, which frequencies that you wouldn't hear anyway. It's just trouble, nuisance frequencies. And then a little bit of compression. So if I play it back, I'll play it once without Nectar.
We get caught in the loop.
It's a bit muddy, too much low end, not enough high end. And then
We get caught in the loop. We're stuck in the loop. We get caught in the loop, the loop, the loop.
you can hear straight away it's just really like cleaned up and cleared up that vocal. Especially from, you know, what we were saying before, we're recording with an SM7B, so the vocals are always going to be a bit muddier, and so this, any kind of, a lot of sort of cheaper mics, you're going to have that muddy sound, so these plugins are going to help you kind of combat against that without paying thousands of pounds for, you know, a Manley or a U87 or some of those dream mics that we all would like to have. And you know, and even now, you know, we've used those mics a lot in the studio, but we just love using the 7B because it's what we used.
And we'd have to go through and change a lot of these.
Yeah, exactly. We'd have to completely change our vocal chain. Up next, interesting plugin. It's called Golfos. It's an EQ.
We get caught in the loop.
As you can see, when I hit play, the lines are kind of dancing around. So in real time, it's EQing the vocals.
We get caught in the loop.
It's quite subtle what it's doing there, but just helping it out. And this plugin is not subtle. This is called OTT, and everybody watching, this is free. So definitely go and get it. It's from Xfer. You can get it literally on their website, you can get it on Splice, you can get it wherever. It's a multi-band compressor, so if I put it on full,
we get caught in the loop.
You can hear it's super intense, so you want to dial it back till almost it's not on, and then it's just going to be adding a nice crispness. We've, as you can imagine, worked with a lot of, you know, the top producers from around the world at this point. Almost everybody uses this on vocals, almost everybody uses this on synths, and
Master chain.
more people than you would think have this as the final thing on their master chain. Like, I'm not going to name names, but most people.
You know who you are.
And it's free. So I'll have it on full and I'll dial it back so you can hear what it's doing.
We get caught in the.
Oh, overload.
We get caught in the loop. We're stuck in the loop. We get caught in the loop, the loop, the loop. Yeah.
So around kind of 8 to 10%, it's pretty good. I wouldn't go beyond that because I feel like it's a bit heavy-handed, but up to 20 I've seen people using. And last but not least, this is a plugin called Fresh Air. So literally what this does is adds air into your vocal. It adds like top end sparkle. So if I turn it on, I'm just going to roll these back to 0. Just got control over mid air and high air, so mid presence and high sparkle.
We get caught in the loop. We're stuck in the loop. We get caught in the loop, the loop, the loop. Yeah, we get caught in the loop. We're stuck in the loop. We get caught in the loop, the loop, the loop.
Just adding sparkle into those highs. And like I say, can be quite hard to get that, but it really helps it cut through the mix. And this plugin is like a goat. It's just something that's been really new to us. We've only just started using it, but pretty much everybody that we go into sessions with now has started using this. So it's not too expensive. Definitely would recommend. And we're not sponsored for saying that. So we've now got our lead vocal, and it's sounding nice. I think you might disagree, but it's sounding good. Now to get the real Goodboys sound, and what most people are doing anyway, you need to have doubles. So they're layers of the same vocal, which you pan to the sides to make your vocals sound thicker. A stylistic choice to do it, and some people might choose just to have one vocal in the center, but we choose to do your lead vocal mono here, and then your doubles to the sides. So I've pre-comped it and I've chopped it, as you can see. But these are the doubles. So if I play them,
We get caught in the loop, we're stuck in the loop.
kind of hear it's very similar to the lead. And the reason for that is because of this plugin, which is called Vocaline. Back in the day, I used to sit there nudging bits of audio and making the timings perfect and making every bit of pitch exactly the same. And it literally would take me hours and hours to record vocals. And then somebody showed me this, and it has completely changed the game. So our lead vocal channel, for some reason, is called the loop_21 #03_ bounce in place. I think I dragged it onto a channel that it wasn't actually the lead. But what I've done here is I'm side chaining the plugin to that channel. And if I hit capture,
We get caught in the
bit of an overload. It's freaking out. What it's doing is it's capturing the audio of the lead as the guide, and then it's capturing the audio of our double in the channel dub. And it's through the side chain, it's aligning the dub to the lead channel. And so it's making them perfectly in time. And you've got here match timing and match pitch. You're just choosing how much it's manipulating your vocals or your doubles to be in time with the lead. If you have it too tight, it can sound a bit robotic and you can get phasing issues. But if you have it kind of, 20 milliseconds out, it just literally tightens everything up, and it makes your vocal comping process from 10 hours down to maybe like an hour to do the entire vocal.
It's worth an investment, especially if you're recording in your bedroom or you're doing a remote session with someone and they need you to record the vocals for, I don't know, like close to £200. Obviously it's a lot of money, but it's an investment into not having to sit and nudge and tweak for hours on end, which is what it will be.
Yeah.